Greetings, dear viewers. This is the Cross Moto channel. If I tell you that an inline engine can be installed upside down in a motorcycle frame, that will seem to you either like a not very good joke or outright nonsense. However, motorcycle history includes designs like this. For example, here's the Italian Nimbo with an upside-down inline three-cylinder engine, or the experimental MGC 600 from 1935 with an upside-down four-cylinder engine. A similarly interesting technical solution was implemented on the French one as well. The Army motorcycle Simca Sevitam, which will be discussed in this segment. Enjoy watching. A small correction during the video. Unfortunately, despite the many photos of several Sevitam motorcycles that have survived to this day, I was not able to find even a single video of it. So we'll have to make do with photographs. In the 1930s of the last century, the leading armies of the world tried to become as motorized as possible. Time moved forward, and horses and carriages were replaced by vehicles with internal combustion engines. The military also placed great hopes on the motorcycle. In the mid-1930s, the technical department of the French Army, in addition to heavy motorcycles with sidecars, became interested in a lightweight off-road motorcycle. The requirements were quite strict. It had to be low noise and suitable for traveling over any type of terrain. The machine had to be able to easily climb 45-degree slopes and cross a ford with the engine fully submerged in water. The equipment also had to be disassembled within a few minutes into three parts for easy transport.
И не только.
The Army officials demanded a speed of around 75 to 85 kilometers per hour. The maximum weight of the motorcycle was 120 kilograms, a range of 500 kilometers on a single tank, and an engine with a displacement between 250 and 350 cc. Simca, or the Industrial Society for the Production of Automobiles and Bodies, was established in 1934 as a company for producing licensed copies of cars in France. And this company was tasked with developing a motorcycle for the needs of the Army. The vehicle was developed as part of the SEVITAME program, or the Society for the Study of Transport Vehicles, based on modern and economical automotive technologies, or something like that. Oh, those French, they're big fans of abbreviations and hard-to-pronounce names. Marcel Violet, the chief engineer of Simca, and designer Achille Vincent met the requirements by creating a unique motorcycle that weighed only 120 kilo. Violet was a big fan of multi-cylinder two-stroke engines. Several versions of the power unit were developed for the prototype, with displacements of 280, 315, and 330 cc. The first prototype of the motorcycle appeared in 1937 and was equipped with a 280 cc engine. A little later, preference was given to the 330 cc engine. The engine was truly unique. The crankshaft was on top and the cylinders were at the bottom. Together with the gearbox, it formed a heavily finned parallel piped. Such a configuration, that is, an inverted engine layout, is found in piston engine aviation. But while aviation adopted this as early as World War I to improve the pilot's visibility, in the case of SEVITAME, it was dictated by the optimization of the engine and gearbox layout in a single parallelogram block. 3 of the transmission's gears were intended for moving the motorcycle, while the 4th, the so-called winch gear, had an extremely high gear ratio of 43:1. In addition to the drive shaft to the rear wheel, this suitcase had a power takeoff shaft. You could attach a winch if you wanted, or even a boat propeller. Even though the engine was air-cooled, it was only indirectly so. The entire aluminum crankcase was thoroughly bathed in oil from the inside, which flowed through numerous channels, and the total oil volume in the engine was 8 liters. During tests in 1938, after several hours of driving around the proving ground at speeds from 2 to 8 kilometers per hour, the engine heated up to only 72 degrees. Air intake for the engine was taken at handlebar height. According to some sources, the engine produced 5, and according to others, about 8 horsepower. And despite these modest numbers, The motorcycle easily reached a speed of 80 kilometers per hour. The frame consisted of two stamped metal sections connected at each end of the engine. The assembly could be disassembled in a few minutes by unscrewing just 4 bolts. The 20-liter fuel tank was located at the rear of the motorcycle. The fuel supply was enough for a range of 500 kilometers. By the way, for ease of maintenance, the motorcycle's design used bolts and nuts of only 3 sizes, so it was enough to have just 3 wrenches in the tool bag. In 1938, the motorcycle successfully passed its tests. It overcame potholes up to 40 cm deep, easily handled a route that included craters and ditches, designed for testing tanks and other tracked vehicles, and towed a broken-down car. Sevitam was approved by the military, and the company received an order to produce 3,000 units. Some sources mention a figure of 40,000. However, by the end of 1939, only about 1,215 units had been produced, depending on the source. In January 1940, the military chose the Peugeot TT 112 Army motorcycle model. Peugeot had similar characteristics, and although it did not have the versatility of Sevitam, it was easier to produce and cheaper. The order for Sevitam was canceled. By July 1940, France had already been defeated, and the advancing German army did nothing to help resume the production of unique equipment. It is worth noting that the close personal relationship between the management of Simca and the owners of Fiat, who were friends of Mussolini, ensured the company was almost completely preserved during the war, especially compared to other French factories. Almost all of the Sevitam motorcycles were destroyed during the fighting. Only 2 examples have survived to this day. That's the story of this, and I dare say, unique French Army motorcycle. That brings my story to an end. You can support my channel by being active, subscribing, commenting, sharing, and so on. Special thanks to everyone who supports my work financially. You've been watching the Cross Moto channel. See you next time.